It's election year in the US, so a good time to look back at Joe Biden's presidency. What do you think was his biggest failure? Maybe the war in Ukraine, or the Israel-Hamas war, or his failure to revive the Iran nuclear deal? Outside the US, yes, these were important setbacks. But if you ask Americans, you may get a different answer. They may tell you his biggest failure was the border. Let's talk numbers first. How many migrants did officials detain at the US-Mexico border? In 2019, around 850,000. That was during the Trump presidency. And last year, around 2.5 million. The numbers are staggering. December alone logged more than 300,000 detentions. But why is this happening? For a number of reasons. During the pandemic lockdowns, people could not migrate. So there is pent-up demand. Plus, Biden's re-election is not certain. If Donald Trump wins this year, he could complete his border wall. So migrants are making a dash. They want to enter before the US election. And what is Biden doing to stop this? Until now, very little. First, he sent his vice president to Latin America. Her message was borderline Hollywood villain.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
No luck. People kept pouring in. Around 70% Americans disapprove of Biden's border policy. They say he's failed. Even Democrats are struggling to defend him. In November last year, 5 mayors wrote a letter to Joe Biden. These were mayors of Chicago, New York, Denver, Houston, and Los Angeles. All 5 were Democrats. And what did they want? Better border policies, because their cities are swamped by migrants. In Chicago, they're sleeping outside police stations. In New York, a cruise ship terminal is now a shelter. In Denver, migrant arrivals are up tenfold. So these cities are overrun. They may want to welcome migrants, but the infrastructure is not available. So finally, Biden has woken up. He's managed to strike a deal on immigration reform. It sets aside $20 billion for the border. And what would this deal do? Number 1, fast-track asylum cases. Number 2, give more authority and freedom to deport migrants. Number 3, reduce parole for detained migrants. And number 4, a border shutdown clause. And this could be controversial. It says the president can shut down the border under 2 conditions. A, if 8,500 migrants cross in a single day. Or B, if daily average crossings top 5,000 in a week. Mexico is already complaining about this.
So, the position of we are going to close the borders is very demagogic. For example, I have a lot of respect for President Biden. He has conducted himself very well. So did President Trump before. He was very respectful of us. We understand the circumstances, but imagine closing the border.
The deal may help Joe Biden. Just one problem, though. Trump and his hardline Republicans won't support it. So chances are it won't pass in Congress. And that's politics for you. Biden had 3 years to sort out the border, to increase funding, to set up more curbs, but he failed to do any of that. And when does he decide to make a move? In election year. So Republicans are on the charge. On Tuesday, they tried a drastic move in the US House. They moved a motion to impeach President Biden's Homeland Security chief. His name is Alejandro Mayorkas. He's also Biden's top border official. Luckily for him, the motion was defeated because 4 Republicans decided to buck the party leadership. But next time could be different. So what does Joe Biden plan to do? Campaign on it. His plan is to point at the border chaos and say it's Trump's fault.
I'll be taking this issue to the country. And the voters are going to know that it's not just a moment. Just at the moment, we're going to secure the border and fund these other programs. Trump and the MAGA Republicans said no, because they're afraid of Donald Trump.
Well, it could go either way. Maybe voters will blame Donald Trump for blocking the bill, or maybe they'll blame the man in charge, which is Joe Biden. Either way, it's a blemish on his legacy. Some 6.3 million migrants have been detained under Biden's rule. Trump, Obama, and Bush had fewer detentions, so there's no point blaming others. Biden came to power promising a humane immigration policy. The same Biden now says, I will shut down the border.
All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come. If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly. A bipartisan bill would be good for America and help fix our broken immigration system and allow speedy access for those who deserve to be here.
The 2024 elections will be fought on a number of issues, but the border will feature prominently. Trump, the wall champion, versus Biden, the shutdown guy. It's the same policy with two names.